Hey guys, welcome. So I know I've been kind of sharing on the different platforms about the canning stuff that I've been doing, and today I want to can meat. So as a new beginner to the canning world, I want to first divulge that this is sometimes called rebel canning. I like the term heritage canning that I heard from someone else. If you don't follow her channel, she is Make It Make. But I love the term heritage canning because it's often referred to as kind of like Amish canning or Mennonite canning. But not everyone around the world has access to pressure canners, and I was so on the fence of whether or not I wanted to pressure can. And I think until I get maybe a little more serious into the canning world, I probably won't buy a pressure canner. To be fair, the difference is timing. So you can do a lot more canning in less time versus the traditional heritage way, which is we are going to water bath meat for 3 hours today. So while I get that ready, I'll be back, but I need to sterilize my jars first, so I will get that stuff ready and on the stove and bring you closer so you can see what I'm doing. Hi, okay, so I'm gonna kind of be in the picture, but not really. So right now I'm just sterilizing. This is my canner, it's an aluminum pot, so it does have a bit of discoloring, but that's all it's used for. The discoloring has nothing to do with anything really. I am going to put my cups in here. I may have to add some more water. Like I'm gonna have to, but really what I'm gonna do is just sterilize them for about 20 minutes at a boil, heat them up. I will be cold packing these, and so looks like I might get something else in there. I will be cold packing these, so I want to kind of get these done quickly so that they can start to cool down. Okay, just give me 1 second here. Jug. I just need to add the 2 of these. I'm going to turn on the burner to get it going. And I will drop in my rings as well. However, I will not do I didn't even bring them in yet, but I will not do the lids that go, the inserts that go inside here. And the reason for that is because of the brand I'm using are Burnett's, I believe they are. And they recommend that you don't heat them up. So, I'm just gonna plop the rings in though for sterilization, and the discs are washed and just not in here. I've left them in the dining room, so I'm just gonna plop these in there, and like I said, I'm gonna let it get to a boil and boil for about 20 minutes for sterilization, and then we'll take them out to cool down. Hey guys, so I've taken out the jars, we've got the lids ready. Maybe in a little bit I will do like a little voiceover in the video, just kind of explaining the lids if you're new to this heritage canning. Remember, in this kind of world, it is your kitchen, your rules. It is for our consumption and no one else. I'm not selling this stuff. We will be raw packing the meat, and we will be water bathing it for 3 hours, and we will be 3 hours water bathing it. I think there's a few things here that I'm going to talk about. I don't want to mention right now, but a few things I'm going to talk about. So I'll get to that point next. So I'll be right back while I continue to gather the rest of the things. Okay, so let's see how this works on my spoon right here. Okay, so I am going to just spoon it in. I do have, just going to try and actually pick this up with the spoon a little bit. There we go. I do do have store-bought meat. It is grass-fed. You can really do whatever you like. Again, it's your kitchen. So this is a lean or a leaner ground beef. And we're just gonna like pack this in. I am using half pints. We are just a family of 3 for the most part, and except for, you know, when kids come over. But yeah, so I'm just gonna pack these in. Hopefully I've sterilized enough. If I have leftover, then that's probably what we're gonna be having tonight. I will make something up with it if I have some leftover, but not enough for another jar. Like if I don't have another jar. So this is one of the things I do struggle with when canning, is that sometimes I do not sterilize enough jars, and then I have to get another pot going to sterilize. So sometimes that is interesting. Okay, so I don't know if everyone has one of these tools that I have. It came with my blender, and I'm just gonna use it to kind of stuff down, because I see like there's some gaping holes there, so I will get that out and show you guys afterwards. And I'm gonna grab a plate though, just to be able to, I don't want residue kind of deal from my little packer and so if you are a recently new canner and are trying some things too, let me know. I will be adding like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in here. There is no rhyme or reason really for it. Maybe I should have done this a little bit sooner, but I think we're okay there. I know there's a little bit of a space down there, but this will shrivel a bit as it cooks in the jar, and yeah, it will slide down a little bit. So, okay, so there's kind of, now I will do it differently the next bottle, but see, as you see there, actually I wonder if I kind of go like this. Let me see here, getting it down. Oh, it is. Okay, let's try that now. That is filling in that space. So I'm gonna have to just play with it a little bit here, but it is getting it into that space. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So as you see, just by doing that, like look at how much more space I created to fill, like to put some more, so actually, like, it looks like I can really get like another probably spoonful in there. Okay. There we go. So as you can see now, it's pretty much, I know there's still a little bit of a space. It's not gonna be perfect, but for the most part, we've got it in there. So I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna move on to the next one. And like I said, this time I will use the packer a little bit sooner. Maybe after I get 2 spoons in there, and then see that helps fill in those gaps. Okay, so yeah, so much better there. You can see, so that's just what I have to do there, is just kind of fill it in beforehand. And so I'm gonna get the rest of these bottles going, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, okay, so while that kind of happened, this is what I got. I got 4 full ones, and then one that's like not really half and not really full. I am gonna still try and can it anyways. I don't know, I haven't seen anything specifying otherwise. So anyways, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do my salt first. So for the smaller can, obviously I'm going to put in less salt. I today am using a little bit of sea salt. You literally can use whatever you want. If you end up using table salt, there is potential for your water to look kind of cloudy and stuff. Not a big deal. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with your food or anything. So like I said, I'm using 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is not necessary, this step. That's just, I'm just flavoring our meat by choice. These are gonna be, they're raw packed, as I said. So we're not adding any juices. What we will be doing, I will be doing two things with the vinegar. One, I will be wiping the rims, which are very, very important because we don't want any like fat or anything on the rims. So we're just gonna do the outside, the top part. This helps to get a seal, because if there's any like grease or anything like that, it may not seal. So these bottles should be going underwater. I will be filling up the pot if I need to. But anyway, so they're just finger tight though, so like no water gets in, but you don't want them overly tight that you can't get them off. And we can talk a little bit about that after we get this in. I'll come back and kind of do a little segue while it's boiling. Remember, we will be boiling for 3 hours. So that is really like significant. So you definitely have to have the time. If I get more serious into this, I will probably buy what they call, or what I call an Amish canner, where it's like a metal bucket, literally. And you put it on your barbecue and you can just, you know, keep filling it up, just so it doesn't heat up the house. I mean, in the wintertime, it's not bad because it helps heat, but then it's only heating our kitchen. Which in the bigger picture, I guess really isn't a big deal, but you know, it may be just something you don't want to do depending the season or whatever. But anyways, I am excited to add some meat to our stock shelves. And yeah, so okay, so these guys are ready to go in. I am just using this, like I bought this pot, guys. You don't need a special pot either. You can have any size pot. So I bought this pot. If you live in Eastern or Atlantic Canada, I bought it at Hart. I spent like 19 bucks on it. I just went to the dollar store and picked up a few of these to place them down inside. If you don't even want to do this, you literally can just use a tea towel at the bottom of your pot and place these in your pot. This, I think, is a contribute to using a tea towel, because I was using a tea towel. Most of my tea towels are red, and so when it came time to drain out the water, there would be sometimes some discolor. I'm also going to add a touch of vinegar to my water. This just prevents the jars from getting kind of like a film on them. Not a big deal. I don't always do it. I'm just starting to do it because I have had a few jars where for whatever reason they kind of have like a white film on them. So that just helps that. What else? Well, we'll just keep checking in over the time. But for now, let's get these guys in and see if we have, I will probably have to add more water. Might even have to add something onto that one I see that's not fully packed because it is starting to float away. I will show you guys in a second here, but it is starting to float away, which is okay. I mean, it's not okay that it's floating away, but it's okay. We can get something to put on top of it. Let me just see if I can show you guys here. So this one, let me see here. I just kind of look closer. This one here is floating. It should be down. So I am going to just find something to weight it down. Wonder if I just take another jar, fill it with water, if that's going to be heavy enough to weigh it down. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying here just to reposition these a little bit. That's another nice thing when they're cold packed. Trying to get your hand in there to figure it out. See, I don't want to have the lid on there because I don't want it to seal that one. But I guess I could just go like this. Will that stay on there? Yes. Okay. So now I'm gonna. I really don't like that. Let me see. What if I do this? Put this on. That will kind of keep it down, and then I can put this one on. Yes, that works. All right, we got it figured out. We figured her out. Okay, so there we go. Sometimes you just have to improvise. The other thing too is I've seen other canners, when something like this happens, they kind of move it off to the side if they don't have enough space, and they just use one of the rings and place a jar on top of it, and that seems to work. So, okay, so for this, I'm going to add a little bit more water. Will it stay down if I take this off? No, it won't. Okay, so, and I will just have to kind of watch that jar, make sure that jar has always got some water. And once this gets to a rolling boil, okay, sorry for the cutoff there. Once the pot comes to a rolling boil, I will start a timer. I just use an egg timer, and every time it dings, I go back to it and start it again. So I do, to get the water temperature up, I do, I think every canner kind of does it differently. I personally like to just get her up there and then bring her down to adjust so that I don't have to. I also will keep a kettle of hot water going so that I can top up my canner. I probably top it up about every 20 to 25 minutes. And obviously that's gonna vary from place to place. Now, I'm gonna come back and have a conversation around some tips that I learned about when canning and so forth. So, if you've heard certain terminology, you can kind of have an answer for them. Okay, so some of the questions I've seen online and that I have been asked myself personally is, what about altitude? And when you pressure cook, altitude matters. So because I'm altitude to sea level, I am less than 1,000. It has very little impact. So when you're following a recipe, if it says, 15 minutes in the pressure canner, then you would do 15 minutes in the pressure canner. If you were under, say, 1,000 feet above sea level. If you were like 1,001, even 1,010, you have to add an extra 5 minutes to that pressure time of canning. Okay, so that's one of the things I like about the water bathing is in different places around the world, that is not a thing when you water bath. A lot of them don't. I belong to a few different groups, and so I'm learning a lot of stuff about where other people live and how, like, I think if I was them, to be fair, I think if I was them, I would probably be laughing at our customs, our ways that we've invented. I don't even know why. I mean, I understand botulism, but there's lots of ways to, you know, make sure you don't have botulism. You know, depending on what you're canning, you may bring up the acidic levels a little bit. If it's something like this, you're going to cook it up like you're going to warm it up in a fry pan anyways. So, you know, you're going to be killing any kind of like bacteria or anything like that. That was in that jar. And you're also going to strain it of its juices, right? So, there are little subtle things that you can do, like even with the cheesecake. You know, there's a little bit of lemon juice in the filling, right? So the only thing I learned differently about the cheesecake canning was that I did cherry cheesecake, and it says you can or you don't have to add the topping. I did add the topping, and I did cherries. And cherries are heavy, and so when I put in the topping, they sank. But that's also kind of like a different type of canning that I did as well. It was all done in the oven in a roasting pan. It actually really was a fun project. And you can get others involved with you in that project, which was also that made it fun. Now, I did record the different steps that we did, but not record the actual steps, just because some people didn't want to be on camera. So that's, you know, just how it ended up for that particular recipe. And I will be doing that recipe again, and I will likely just do it myself so I can be completely on the camera. But it was a fun project. I am looking forward to the canned meat as well. So more specifically, the hamburger meat than others. I've seen people do stewing beef and chicken and things like that. And although I'm sure they're tasty, usually when I am doing one of those other kinds, I want those flavors to be locked in with the foods that I am cooking. This is more, the hamburger is more for like, you know, it's a late night, or I need a quick meal. I can quickly throw that together, throw some vegetables on top, throw some potatoes on top, and go right into like a shepherd's pie or something, especially if we have extra people that show up for meals. So just little things like that are very, very helpful. So anyways, when it starts to boil, I'm going to set the clock for 1 hour, or the timer for 1 hour, and we'll just keep kind of checking in, showing you what things look like. All right, bye for now. Hey guys, so we got one left. We got 10 minutes left. We're almost there. Okay guys, so the timer went off. I reset the timer for 5 minutes because I had to sit for 5 minutes before we can pull them out. So we're gonna go for the one that's just a half a pint first. Some of them are still popping already in there, but this is what looks like. You can see it's got all its own juices in there, so that's pretty cool. I wasn't too sure how much juices were going to go to that. Same with this one. And so apparently too, when they cool down, like fat will solidify on the top, and apparently it's still perfectly normal and fine for that to happen. I am kind of interested though. They do kind of have a pink tinge to it, but I'm not really too sure. I'll have to investigate a little bit more into that. Maybe it's not a pink tinge. Maybe it's just all the bubbles coming up from it, but we'll find out. There's another one, so you can see all the liquid in the bottom. I think that's what I'm seeing. That kind of looks pinkish. This is the spacing. Last one. So 2 of them have pinged already. Yes, they do have a towel underneath. Oh, there was another one. So they are popping. So there you go. Let me just see. I can turn this around. So there we go.